Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745. Come watch me crush the final Soviet resistance to the conquest of the Caucasus. We are trying for a major victory, though I don't know if we can actually achieve that in time. Yeah, come forward. Not quite sure why I'm moving some of these units. I don't think they'll be needed. Well, they're shooting at my flame panzers, going down to their last port. Ooh, flame panzers get attacked by infantry again. And well, we've got a marginal victory. How interesting. I thought I was going to get to go down and take Baku, but they gave me a marginal victory. I was trying for a decisive victory, quite honestly I was. So what would be the next mission here? Proceed. Congratulations, you, Herr General, but now is not the time for such pleasantries. In spite of your steady success, our so-called allies have proven our undoing. At Stalingrad, the 3rd Romanian Army and the Italian 8th Army crumble like dry leaves against the Soviet counterattack. The ensuing loss of our 6th Army is without equal. Our foothold in the region has been completely annihilated, and all that could be salvaged from this debacle were your core forces. Wow, I was really trying to go for a decisive victory, but I could not do it. The situation in the east is dire, but we have received some good news. The Russian counteroffensive at Kursk has been utterly smashed by von Manstein's, whatever, army group south. This victory has stabilized the situation, but ultimately resolving nothing. You must now lead a new offensive against the Bolshevik menace at Kursk. Okay.
Operation Citadel has begun, Herr General. For months, we waited to marshal our forces. Still longer, we waited for new Tiger and Panzer tanks. Now, finally, the time has come to strike. Execute a pincer movement on the Soviet Bulge that exists between Orel in the north and Kharkov in the south. Smash the Soviet defenses and occupy the central city of Kursk, along with your other objectives. Our enemies grow stronger by the day, so you must strike quickly. Be prepared for in-depth resistance and armored counterattacks from the Soviets. This battle may prove to be the most testing yet. Ensure my trust in you is not misplaced.
Okay, wow. Operation Citadel. Okay, we have new equipment. 43 infantry type units. We have Panzer 3Ms, Tigers, Panthers, Stugs, Elephants, Panzerwaffe 42s, Brumabars, Sig 38s, Wasp. Oh boy, we've got a lot of neat new equipment here to choose from, people. Yes, Tigers. Okay, close. Now, we're not just going to, well, let's see. We have 3,600 points. And let's look and see what we have here already. We already got some elephants. Actually, they were Ferdinands here in this battle. This battle taught them that they needed to make the elephants. The real difference, though, one of the guys from, I think, is in association with the Dutch Tank Museum. Sorry, Arno, I don't know it. Tweeting back and forth. I think it was this. He posted a picture and goes, I forget right now. I forget which it was. And he's called it. I forget again. It was a while ago, and I don't. He said, "Oh, it's here's a Oliphant," and I go, "No, that's a Ferdinand." And he goes, "No, the Oliphants had some sort of headlight or something like that. I forget what it was, but I didn't continue arguing with him because I'm not saying he's wrong or I'm right, but it didn't have, or it did have, or whatever. I forget. It was one or the other. The big change is they added a bow machine gun. I guess is getting to the point of these things, because they really learned that they were vulnerable to infantry attack. I was asked, I think it was by IKB yesterday, how would I capture tanks? Well, I don't really have a good way to capture tanks, and this doesn't necessarily capture, but a good way to knock out these vehicles is if you can swarm them with infantry of any of these types, and you really need machine guns around. So you have a, the big main gun is definitely the big weapon of decision for a tank or assault gun, but you really need a machine gun. Come down to the Stugs down here. Now this model doesn't have a machine gun here. Now it is designed though to be a infantry support tank, as you were, but they did learn, and later on they on this model it does has an external machine gun behind that little armor plate. So Pioneers should be useful. Yes, they should be. Yeah, with luck. But he was meaning capturing and not just like destroying tanks. Because we were talking about captured tanks. There's a lot of captured tanks. I mean, we can see Germans, talking a lot about Germans using captured Soviet armor. And the back and forth earlier, we were talking about an Australian unit that had Italian tanks. They had big white kangaroos painted on the sides of the tanks to show that they were Australian and not Italian. In North Africa, it's probably like an infantry unit that, hey, we've got 4 tanks or whatever it is now, and they happen to be Italian ones. And those are often captured by, like particularly in North Africa, running out of fuel and your side losing the battlefield, meaning retreating, and so you abandon your tank, or it being knocked out but not destroyed, tracked, so it's abandoned, or if you wound or kill some of the crew members by penetrating the armor at some places, but you don't like knock the tank out, or you hit into the engine compartment and you damage it. That's because you're also capturing forward tank repair depot, so you're getting some supplies and some equipment, so you're putting them back into use. Yes, it was the Overloon. That's right. Yeah, and so yes, you're right. And you're very right about there were 2 Ferdinand attacks because there were 2 Ferdinand units. One unit of Ferdinand's was a Stug unit, if I remember correctly, that gets their Stugs replaced with Ferdinands. And they do very well at the Battle of Kursk because they know how to use them, and they use them like Stugs, like they have been trained in using it. The other unit had been a towed anti-tank unit that, I don't know, PaK-40s or something. I don't know. Was in the little article that I read about it. They get upgraded to Ferdinands, and they start using them sort of like tanks, charging into the enemy, very much like you describe, and they get really wrecked by infantry. That's why they realized they need machine guns. So when they were used like Stugs as a supporting arm to an infantry attack, because these are for tank killing. I mean, sure, you can shoot it at an entrenched position at a bunker with a high explosive rounds. They did have those for them. They're anti-aircraft guns after all as well. So you can shoot a round, and they made rounds commonly that go out the barrel that impact something and blow up. So you can blow up buildings, you can blow up bunkers, you can blow up just some sort of enemy positions. And I'm sure at some point, because they were often used down in Italy, later in the war, when they're rebuilt as elephants, and so the Americans encountered them there. there. So they're definitely used in a Stug-like role of supporting infantry, but their primary job and what they're sort of, they're sort of a mistake in the first place, of course. They were designed to be Tigers, and Ferdinand Porsche sort of rushes ahead in producing some, and they decide, oops, nope, we're going with the Henschel or whatever, the other Tiger hull. They both had the same turret. And so, well, what do we do with the already produced tanks? Well, let's put a big armored box on them and turn them into tank killers. And so that, as I said, tank killers. So they're specifically in either of the two formats that they were made to kill tanks, particularly because they were encountering KVs, KV-1s, KV-85s eventually. They're encountering KVs, and they want to really punch through them at long range. And they're designed to support other arms. Oh, absolutely, Savage Metal. It's best because obviously when we were earlier playing War Thunder, we're doing tank duels, and that's that's all it is tanks on tanks and other fighting vehicles. But in reality, it's supposed to be supporting arms. And the Germans did very well and definitely did the best early war in the idea of mass concentration of force. But the French weren't entirely wrong either. The idea of, and which the Germans did do more in the Stug format, though they did have Stug Abteilungen or battalions or whatever, particularly on the East Front later in the war. But they also did a Stug unit that was 3 Stugs and 1 Stu-42, the STU-42, as a sort of a support platoon or Zug for a mechanized infantry unit, one of these type of, with Panzer Grenadiers. And so you'd have a small platoon supporting other armored infantry, and that is, like I say, the French weren't entirely wrong of having tanks spread out in supporting, Henschel. Okay, Henschel, that's, thanks. And so that is a very good use of, because as we can, mentioning earlier, back, what's a tank? Well, a tank originally was, the Mark IV or whatever that had no turret in World War I, or the Whippet tank, the British that had no turret, or the Char or whatever it was, the French thing that had a bow-mounted gun but no turret. It's only the FT-17 that really shows us the way that tanks should have a turret. So are these tanks? Yeah, sort of not, but they're designed to have heavy armor, and they're designed as infantry support vehicles. And so you can substitute these, or you could substitute these for tanks, which some of the Panzer Grenadier and other even Panzer divisions did have companies of these in place of tanks. Or you can substitute tanks and have tanks support, in small packets, effectively, infantry attacks. Now, you shouldn't, and the biggest problem with Germany is they never really had enough tanks, ever, to fully equip their Panzer divisions and their Panzer Grenadier divisions, which are sort of Panzer divisions with but one, either Stug or Panzer battalion, to have that mass of tanks, of massive impact, have that, plus have enough to sprinkle around other infantry units or whatever to have them, as a supporting element. They never really had enough. If they did, that's how they should be used in. They should be used in both roles, because infantry definitely has a very good place on the battlefield. Places like Vietnam, where a armored division isn't going to be your best or your primary. There's enough open area that maybe you'd have one armored division if you're invading Vietnam or something else, but it's mostly infantry. But all those infantry units running around Vietnam could use a little bit of tank support when and where appropriate, to have a big gun firing and have heavy armor to deal with incoming fire, and have machine guns and all that stuff. So both roles, if you will, the tank as a supporting arm to a primary infantry unit is as appropriate as a mass tank formation. It just, you got to look at your battlefield. If I'm just seeing the mountain troopers. Yeah, mountain troopers could use a few, because there's most of the places mountain troopers go. There's going to be a few roads. There's going to be a few open fields and a few of those kind of things. To have a few tanks supporting your operation would be very useful and very effective. But obviously, you don't want to throw in a mass of tanks into mountains, if you have a choice. Let me read a little bit. By 33 Germans knew they were mining everything everywhere they could. Yes. Planting mines. Yes, I get that. Yes, the Saint... Chamond. You're right. Very good, Toy Jet. Could they fuel just more tanks? Yes, they could. Absolutely. Now, they didn't, or they couldn't, because they had their synthetic fuel plants bombed. They had Ploetsti bombed. They had other oil fields bombed. But had they not had those things happen, absolutely. Obviously you can categorize things in many ways. There's historians that are were interested in what actually happened historically, to dig in and find out what happened historically. And I remember one of my professors who, back in college, he was only interested in historical facts. And he even talked about this because he had some history friends that were big into what I like is to know all those historical facts, but take the what ifs. Not what if aliens showed up, or what if magically Hitler had unlimited amounts of fuel. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, well, what if things changed a bit? We just played the Caucasus campaign. What if they had played more like I did, and take Stalingrad effectively, and so take the rails on the far side of Stalingrad, so you can't get that southern wing of that offensive. One, so the counterattack could only be effectively the northern wing of the counterattack. Two, all those German troops that were in Stalingrad, battling in Stalingrad, would be freed up from being in Stalingrad, would help strengthen the general line of Romanian and Italian troops. And so that, because they knew the Romanian and Italian troops weren't going to effectively be in Stalingrad, so they put all the German units there and left the others out. But, so had they effectively stopped the counterattack, which those are all reasonable what ifs, because I can realistically show you how that instead of plowing like the Germans did, because they thought victory was almost in sight, another battalion, another division, we've almost got Stalingrad. Instead of doing that, realize, oh, we've got resistance, let's swing wide around Stalingrad and cutting that off. Reasonable what ifs. They had the motorized transport around at that time, and they could have easily, or they could have done it effectively. I don't know if easy is the right term. They could have easily isolated Stalingrad and then taken it down, I think, quite well. But obviously that's hindsight. But not so much hindsight that they couldn't have seen it. But so had you effectively taken Stalingrad and then opened up the Baku oil fields and the Grozny and other oil fields, Maikop, you could supply more fuel. So those are all reasonable what ifs. So yes, Germany could have. It would have been possible, but they would have to make other decisions along the point. And if they made those decisions and things went well, it would have worked. Obviously, if they made other decisions, they could have lost the Battle of France. Used tanks much better than the Germans did in World War II. By the end of the war, they absolutely were doing so, JP. Hello, Ari. Hey, Ari, thanks for the transportation game. I will be playing it, but no more gifts of games, okay? Because I really should ask the company for the games. But thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. We will play it sometime. Not real soon, but we will play it sometime. Thanks again. Yes. You have preparation. If you look at Sun Tzu and you follow Sun Tzu's stuff, and I'm not good. I'm terrible at quoting things. I'm really, getting, quotes. But the basic is Sun Tzu is good generals. Well, very good generals win wars by not fighting them. But good generals win the wars before the wars start in preparation. So if you're setting up the situation for fall blue, if you don't prepare the groundwork beforehand well enough, you're going to have serious problems. Now, the Germans sort of learned that lesson, and this is why we're here at Kursk, and why they had so much trouble at Kursk. They did rush the Panthers into the battle, but they over-prepared, which allowed the Soviets to build all of their defenses, to concentrate the forces for the counterattack. So they did put in the preparation time, but it also allowed the enemy to put in preparation time. So they did learn that lesson, but they were on a situation where the enemy's resources were just so much greater, and the enemy had eventually warnings from the Allies that the attack was going to come. So they were really able to do that. Yeah, winter clothes, absolutely. No problem, no problem. We'll get to that. Okay, but you're very right. You need to keep me on it because I get into talking. Okay, we got Pack 38s. Oh, how interesting, Pack 38s. That's for late in the war. Most of the time by Kursk, the Pack 38s were being sent south to deal with Shermans. Okay, so we have. Okay, click here to get our deployment areas. I want to see where we can deploy. So we're going to reinforce the northern wing of it and deploy here in the south entirely. Okay, now well, first we're gonna save the game again. Turn 1 LP, just save that, just because if I in planning stages. Okay, well, purchase units. Okay, core slots 31. Anybody know how many? Because I lost several units towards the end of that last. Oh, let's cancel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, if I'm counting correctly. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Okay, we do have 32 if we include all of our... So we already have more units. Okay. So I don't want to purchase any more units. So I want to upgrade units. That's sort of what I wanted to find out. Oh, I think he's meaning the game I was referring to. It's a transportation game. Oops, Ari can probably supply you with that. I just clicked at like trains, airplanes, and ships, and that transportation management. Okay, so well. What models do we have? G. Those are all G's. Gonna keep the flame panzers because they seem to be pretty good at dealing with that. Let's see what we can upgrade with you. Okay, here's our elite unit. Panthers, the D's. Do they break down a lot? Cost. Ooh, total cost. That's expensive. That's expensive. 700. Let's cancel that. We're gonna see about that. Sort of think we should upgrade the ends. We have ends. The G's are, yeah, I'm looking at. Yeah, this is going to take a while. Advantage the Americans had was adaptability. You're absolutely right. The Americans were very adaptable. Yeah. Just looking, comparing these two. Better tank killing, better. Okay, so yeah, we want to upgrade to. That's going to be expensive, but the only thing slightly down on is infantry killing, aircraft, but oh well. What's defense against close defense, which could be a thing, but I think we will upgrade these guys. Okay, so now we got some Panthers. So you can see here, in this phase, you can see the number of men. What kind of, if we have an Iron Cross, some various stars here. I don't know if we have a better read on some of that. If we upgrade the unit, no, we don't. There's not a really, at least that I know of, a really good panel to see. We need the Ghost Division. They can win this war. Yeah, the Ghost Division was good. Don't know that they would be the best choice for slamming into, you know, Kursk. As a maneuvering unit, I would agree with you. I'm wondering, do we go with our elite force or well, let's first do that and then upgrade to Tigers. We want a Tiger. Okay, so we're gonna have a Tiger and a Panther down south because we already have 2 Stugs and an Oliphant up north with the Wasp. So the Tiger should get us plenty of hitting power, and the Panther as well. So but up north we are going to need some infantry assault, and I think we're going to see about okay, okay, we're at, these are regular Grenadiers. If we move them to 43 Grenadiers, cost us 60, that's totally worth it. But notice we go from 5 to 7 on infantry kill, from 3 to 8 on tank, and that, what's that? Initiative, so we're increasing initiative. So yes, we want to upgrade. And I think we want to do that, seeing how cheap it is, basically with all of the units. Okay, so that's Wehrmacht infantry. I think we're just going to go with simple upgrades. Now I've saved this, so if I'm doing something terribly wrong, I can come back to it. And close the pocket before I'm trying to push through. Oh, absolutely, JP. We think very much alike on strategy and things. Okay, we also have some air up there. I very much thought that they should have, instead of trying to smash into it, that they should have pushed deep. This, you know, pushed east and try to close that up first. That, now I don't know why. Maybe if I was there at the time and looking at my understanding, which may not be correct, but understanding of what the historical units were and positions, you know, that may have had other problems. Okay, upgrade. And upgrade to 43 Grenadiers. No, not Grenadier. There we go. Simple. Cheap cost. Are they moving these? Yes, they are. Okay. 43. Infantry, 43. Version. And mountain troops. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Not maybe the best for this map, but I like them. Now, like you said, pioneers will be really useful, so we're going with this. They can clear mines, and so we will upgrade them to much better fighting capabilities. Now here, we're gonna wait on him because I know. Well, we do have a river here. I didn't think there was anything that would be considered a river on this map. They've got a river there. And a river here. Okay, coming around here. Oh, this could be... Yeah, no, we want to keep these guys. So we will reinforce them. We spent a lot of our stuff just upgrading that infantry. Yeah, so all of our infantry is upgraded to 43. These may have to go. A relatively narrow corridor for supplies of Panzer north and south. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm talking not huge east, but I'm instead of from where they are push north and south, I'm saying swing east a ways and then north and south. Just push a little bit deeper into Soviet territory. Okay, I'm a little worried about overspending too much here. Okay, we've got... Oh, cancel. Upgrade. Right, okay. Artillery. Oh, we don't even have the option of what we currently have. Bombars. Okay, so we could do that at 0 cost, that at 9. That at 3. Okay, well, we'll be back. This is one of the things I've been thinking about. 600, we don't have the points for that. Damn. Yes, to just avoid the defending forces of the corridor. Oh, well, yeah, no, the Battle of Kursk is definitely something that is a reasonable idea. Where the Battle of the Bulge is a stupid idea. Too late in the war for it to really be useful. Okay, well, we've got all that upgraded. I think that's probably one of the weaker units. Though I like Martyr 2s. 300, 350. Yeah, that's just outrageously much better armor. But is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. I think we're going to stick with this. Because getting up to the Stugs here, well, see, it's now 350. Okay, so I'm thinking I want to upgrade a few more of my tanks. Let's see what they're going to cost to upgrade. If we just go to the H version, 20. Okay, that isn't much at all. Total cost. Okay, so if we versus going to that, that's 600. Well, we can afford that for sure. Oh, well, it's also, yeah, well, we just, well, we still have a fair amount of points. H to 20 or up to Panther. But let's see, the question for me is there any real incentive to attack in the region with 1+ million dug into reconnaissance? Okay, well, if you could effectively destroy those units for a little cost, obviously it's going to cost you lives and whatnot, but for a fairly little cost, then it's absolutely worth it. If you were to take a more dynamic aspect of fighting the Eastern Front, willing to retreat where Hitler wasn't, you could do better by being much more flexible in your operations. And so that would have been a real question here. Okay, yeah, I think the towed artillery's fine. These guys are ammo increases, but what about range? No range increase. No, I think we sort of like that a little better. A little better infantry killing. Do you think they're going to have air power, people? Do I have to worry about air? What do you think? Does anybody know? Yeah, well, Leningrad's another whole issue. Germany was trying the starvation game there. Let's see, is there any better? Better, but considerably better. But fairly expensive. Much better infantry killing, though. Okay, we'll spend that. Very large air battles over Kursk. Okay, good to know. Thanks, Toyjet. Okay, so I'm going to need some of my fighters. Let's see if we upgrade this unit. Ooh, that's expensive, but a lot more air killing capabilities. What? Let's... Yeah, that's a good one. We will upgrade him. We will upgrade him. That's going to be expensive, but I think it may be worth it. Okay. We're currently the D model. Okay, a lot better tank killing, better air defense, though not as good as infantry killing. Yeah. I'm looking at air defense, I'm looking at tank killing, I'm looking at infantry killing. And that's just, this is for little cost. Going to reduce our infantry attack, but massively upgrade our armor attack. And upgrade a bit our anti-air, so we're going to do that for not too much cost. The Germans were victorious on most, but the Aleutians were a constant threat. Okay, I believe the Soviets could have supplied Kursk very well from the air, unlike Bastogne. You know, yeah, weather is definitely a condition. I don't know the Soviets' ability to either effectiveness of fly in and land supplies, and I don't know if the Soviets had an airdrop capability. You know, the idea that do they have a bunch of training on how to prepare supplies for airdrop, and did they also have a lot of transport aircraft that with parachutes ready to do that? In theory, I'm sure they could because the weather is, but I just don't know if they have that capability. so yeah, I just don't know. Okay, so we're gonna keep these guys, the anti-aircraft, and yeah, okay. Let's upgrade you to another H model. Help that out for really cheap. Okay, so that gives us 2 H's here. Cheap or go... Okay, how many points do I have left? 900. That uses all but 300. Oh boy. We're keeping that. We're using that. We got our infantry upgraded. Artillery. Okay, shots just down by 1, but much bigger impact. Oh, and I'm gonna also have to pay for that, which makes it more expensive, but maybe not terribly. Still a little interested in getting a Brombar. So it's never forgotten that the Finns didn't siege from the north. Yes, you're right about that. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I just quite honestly don't know about Soviet air transport situation. Okay, okay, 14 and 11, 18. Yeah, we're gonna upgrade you to 210 millimeter artillery. And, but we're probably gonna leave them. These guys here, that's just really old, so let's... If we do the Wasp, it's not gonna cost us anything. That increased the number of rounds, but decrease its hitting. That's only 9, but do we want to go... Okay, range, yes, range. Oh, all the way down to 1. No, I want some real range with this. Okay, so that is 0 cost, but only more ammo, really. Same hitting power. Same range, but more fuel, more ammo. Back down here. Back down to range of 1. I don't want something that's a pure... Okay, yeah, we'll go with the Hummels. That's a cheap upgrade. Yeah, just reading the chat here. Let's see if Finland, Germany losing. They switch sides like Italy. Well, actually, I don't know. The Finns did. Yeah, they did fight the Germans up in the north for a while, so they did sort of switch sides, but they didn't quite do what like Romania and Italy did of actively operating on the other side. Okay, let's do this too. That's for sure. At least that 703. That would leave 50 some points. What would I? Well, on. Yeah, let's go with the Panther. Better armor, better anti-aircraft. We're losing the anti-aircraft. Yeah, let's do this. We want a cool Panther unit. Okay, so that's upgraded to that. Okay, we have 87 left, which is really sort of nothing. Okay, we need infantry up here. Well, okay, oh, wait a minute. We have one. One bridging unit there. So we want a bridging unit down here, do we? Or do we? Yeah, because there's enough rivers and whatnot. So we'll put the bridging unit, but back a little ways. Where is our bridging unit? It's here somewhere. I know. There it is. Okay, we'll put that there. Don't know. We may do something with that. Okay, up north we have 3 grenadier units. So let's put 2 of them up here. Oh, you could be reinforced considerably. Okay. You can go here. And you can go over here. And the other one will be down here. This deployment area. Let's look to there. Okay, now, do we have any engineering units up here? No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, where am I? Yeah, pioneers. Let's put them over here. Dude. Hello, Kunrinius. I'm sure I'm butchering your name still. Well, Bulgaria never actually, if I remember correctly, actually declared war against the Soviet Union. They only declared war against the Western Allies. So, okay, now we have. Let's put the Tiger unit down here. And this Panther. Let's stick the other Panther up here, putting them back a little ways. We're going to need a lot of infantry to get through these. You see, these are really elite units. That's why I hate losing them. Not that there's any real mountains here in the... Well, we'll sort of save that towards the end. Okay, big guns here. Put mobile guns here. Other not so big guns, but still fairly long range, we'll go with here, and we'll put rockets there with heavy infantry impact. Okay, flame panzers, fighting through cities, fighting through forests, fighting through things like that. So yeah, we'll go with you here. Oh, can we upgrade? No, let's pull them. Yeah, that's free prestige. 9s I'm not worried about, really. Well, maybe I should pull them, I don't know. Yeah, let's do this. Let's just put on skirts. We can afford that to this guy. Okay, so 2 of these here, because we have the Stugs over here already in the Oliphant. Let's just do 1 to help back up with the Panther there in the north. I do sort of hate this separating out unit. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, sort of 5, sort of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we'll go down here with you. And anti-aircraft guns down here for that one. We got that. Now I guess we'll use these guys. Well, okay, let's do some air deployment to make sure that I get what air do I have up north up here? Okay, we've got a Focke-Wulf, 109 and a good. So let's do that. I know we also spent money on this, so yeah, let's make sure, because yeah, the reconnaissance unit down here, I guess. And let's add him up here. Now, okay, so we can deploy those. Now these guys, oh, well, we don't have much. Let's see what we might upgrade them to. Not really anything. Okay. We don't have the money to. Okay. Would I rather have him? Yeah, I guess I would. And okay, we can still deploy him. We may upgrade him to something else once we get more points. I guess we'll stick him down here, though. Yeah, down here. Okay. Okay, there's our deployment. Now, we're going to play, don't you on YouTube live, we're going to keep going. But we're going to end the episode here. You just got to watch an episode of me talking a lot and deploying the forces, which I hope is interesting. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And, of course, I love hearing from you. So please post questions, comments, suggestions. See you next time for more historical gaming.